Hi, my name is Lyla and I'm the Mini Witch. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this week's video, I'm going to teach you how to do UV resin spell effects. We've all seen those magical effects on WizKids miniatures and have thought, wow, there has to be a better way to do this that makes it look good. Or perhaps you had a miniature begging for a dynamic twist of magical powers but weren't sure how to proceed. In this video, we're going to go over two kinds of spell effects that you can do using UV resin, a magic shield and a magical power-up. What you need: UV resin, a UV flashlight, inks, saran wrap, and something to mold around. Magic shield. I'm starting with the shield first. I'm imagining the shield as a force field of magic emanating from my miniature's hand. To begin, lay out your saran wrap and apply your resin in your desired shape. To shape your element, you can use a toothpick or the nose of your UV resin bottle. I did this sort of triangle shape because I was imagining it as their hand came up, it sort of trailed off towards the bottom. Once I had the resin in the shape I wanted, I quickly wrapped it around a paint bottle. Resin is fairly thick, so though you want to work quickly, you don't need to rush. This was to give it the curved shape that I was looking for. Then remove the resin from the saran wrap as quickly as possible. The longer you let the resin set on the saran wrap, the harder it will be to remove. You can leave your resin clear, or you can color it with inks through an airbrush. I played with dyeing the resin with inks, but I was not able to achieve an effect I was happy with. I used hot pink ink from Daler Rowney, and the resin and ink kept separating. If you want an interesting swirl pattern, perhaps this is perfect for you, but it was not what I was after. However, if you attempt this with a different brand of ink, your experience may differ. But be cautious with the amount of ink you add. Ink will greatly thin down your resin and make shaping near impossible. I found the best way to color my resin was to use inks through an airbrush. To be thorough, I also tried painting the resin, but that looked pretty boring. No matter what, it's probably going to take a few attempts to achieve your goal, as resin can be finicky to work with. I made several variations of different sizes, shapes, and even different ways of pulling the saran wrap taut over the bottle to find my perfect piece. Once you have your final iteration, attach it to your model with UV resin. Don't use super glue, as super glue can make your resin appear cloudy. Power up. Next we are on to talking about the power up. I imagine the power-up as magical energy that has fully engulfed an element as if the item itself is the source of the magic. You can do this technique on anything outstretched: a book, a magic wand, or as you see here, a weapon or staff. If you can wiggle resin around it, you can do this technique. Before we get to the resin, consider the best way to create your desired shape. I'm going to demonstrate two ways to wrap your resin around your element. For this weapon, this was easy as I could easily pull the saran wrap around the blade. However, the magical staff would be more difficult. Let's start with the weapon power-up. To begin, lay out your saran wrap and then decide what size you will need your spell effect to be. Consider that you will be folding your resin in half and make your size accordingly. Apply your resin to the saran wrap. Once you are ready, fold your saran wrap around your element, attempting to center the fold in your shape. And then harden it and remove the resin from the saran wrap. For the staff, I was not going to be able to wrap saran wrap around the element due to the horizontal shapes within the staff. Therefore, I needed to find something else to mold my resin around. I wrapped my saran wrap around a rounded paintbrush and applied the UV resin. I preferred doing it this way because I think it gave a more natural, wrinkled texture. Then I hardened my resin and using a pair of scissors, carefully removed the saran wrap. Once again, I had to deal with the horizontal bars of the staff. I cut away at the resin until I was able to slide the resin onto the globe. On this side, I had to cut away so much that it no longer fully engulfed the ball of the staff, so I quickly made another resin cast and cut it in half to cover the gap I had created. Then I colored the resin using a blue-green ink through my airbrush to match the OSL I had already painted. Once I was happy with my placement, I applied UV resin to the globe to secure the spell effect in place. To make it so that it looked as if the spell effect was coming from the ball itself, I then did a smaller version around a thinner paintbrush, and then also did one singular point coming out straight from the top. This way it looked like the spell effect was coming to a natural point, for example, like fire would do. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I feel like this is a really great concept, even though I'm not positive that I executed it to the best of my ability or to the furthest that this technique can be pushed. I'm sure that there are 1,000 different things that you could do with UV resin creating spell effects, and I would love if you would tag me on Instagram with your UV spell effects. If you like what I do here, you can support me on Patreon and join my growing community on Discord. Otherwise, like, subscribe, and comment down below. What creative spell effect are you going to try doing with UV resin? I hope that you're having a wonderful day. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. I just gave Mochi his dinner. Can you hear it? My perfect child.